So many business owners feel like they are at the mercy of every single client, bending over backwards to please them, even when it's detrimental to their business. Sound familiar? If you've ever felt like a slave to your customers, sacrificing your time, energy, and profits just to keep them happy, then this podcast is for you. We're diving into the myth that you need to comply with every customer's whim to succeed. It's time to break free from the client trap and reclaim your business. Welcome to Dollars and Dreams, the podcast designed to empower you to take control of your personal and business finance. You know, the very thought of money and finance can often send chills down your spine and stir up fear of the unknown. But let's change that narrative together. Through this podcast, my goal is to not only to provide you with useful information, but also to inspire and motivate you to take action towards your own financial goals. Let's rewrite your money story together. Hello and welcome to today's episode of Dollars and Dreams. In today's episode, I'm going to debunk a myth that we have heard so much in our business lives, and people will quote it to us all the time. The customer is always right. It's a great marketing plan. It's a great motto for consumers to think that they've got a right to tell you what to do with your business. But I'm here to debunk that myth. A customer is not always right. A customer does not get to tell you what to do. And a customer needs to understand that business is there to serve you and not them. So the customer is always right mentality came about as a marketing plan many years ago. And so what it did was it made you think that if I serve my customer well, if I do what they want, they will continue to come back to me and buy off me regularly. Great marketing plan, but it doesn't work in practice, because what it does is it means that we have become a slave to our customer. We have started to run our business in how it serves our customer best, not how it serves us and our family best. And it means that it's also impacted the profitability of small business owners. Now, an interesting thing, just as a side note, I was down collecting my groceries the other day. So I do click and collect. If you've ever done any of my personal finance courses, you'll know why I do click and collect. And if you want to know more, you need to come join my money makeover. But anyway, I was down waiting at the customer service. I marked on the app that I was at the collection point, and there was this older gentleman. I'm not going to say he was elderly, but he was older. And he was standing there with his little shopping bag, a carton of eggs without the eggs in it, so just the empty carton, and this punnet of maybe 6 or 7 raspberries. And he was standing there arguing with the young lady behind the service counter that he wanted a new lot of eggs because the eggs that he bought last week were cracked on 5 of them. So out of the dozen eggs, he was saying 5 of them were cracked. And of course, she said rightly to him, "Did you let us know? Did you check the eggs before you left? Did you, drop them? Where are the eggs now? Why didn't you just bring them back?" He was standing there arguing that he ate the other 7. So the 5 that were in there, he threw away, and he didn't come back because he only comes to the shops every Friday. So he was standing there arguing the point that he wanted a new carton of eggs because he had to throw 5 of them away. The customer service lady did sort of give into that. She gave him 6 eggs and hoped that that would be the end of it. But then he started on this punnet of raspberries. Now, I don't know if you know the life expectancies of raspberries, but it's a few days. So he was standing there arguing that a week ago he bought these punnet of raspberries. There was 6 or 7 left in them and they had gone mouldy. And when the lady said to him, "But where's the other raspberries?" And he said, "I ate them. It wasn't till I got to here and they were mouldy." And she said, "But they only last a few days." And he was standing there arguing. What the point of this story was, is in no word of a lie, the next comment he made was, "I've always shopped here. I can shop down there at your competitor. And I'm not going to say who they are, but it's the two big retail spaces. And I thought at the time, I was sitting there thinking, and it was ticking over in my head, oh, here goes, the customer is always right. So he was standing there arguing that he can take his business to the competitor's supermarket if they didn't give him a new punnet of raspberries. They were sitting there quite rightly saying, hang on, these are now a week old. You might have eaten 3/4 of them, or it was probably 90% of them, then didn't eat them. When you go back to the fridge, of course they're gone mouldy. And this young lady was standing her ground. And he just said that words to her, I contribute to the profits of this shopping market. I deserve these to be replaced. And I so wanted to step forward, and it took every ounce of my energy to say to him, you should have rung and complained if it happened straight away. Nobody should get bad quality food or bad quality product. But he didn't even ring the store to say, I've picked up these raspberries, they're mouldy. I can't get back till next Friday. I just want it on record that they're mouldy. Supermarkets, when you do that, will quite rightly replace them for you. But to come back a week later with the evidence of it being mouldy, when even if they were perfectly fine a week earlier, would have still been mouldy, because raspberries don't last a week in humid conditions, and we were in humid times. He was using the customer is always right. Now, I want to ask you, in your business, have you ever heard that? Have you ever bowed to that? Have you ever done something that you didn't want to do just to get that client to stop talking, stop whinging, and move on? And it is one of the biggest lessons as business owners that we need to learn with our consumers. I learnt this lesson maybe 10 years ago, I'm going to say, in my business. When I first started my business, I started from ground zero, just like everybody does in business. Unlike most accounting firms, I didn't take any clients from my previous employer. I started from scratch. When I first started, I just needed cash flow, and I would do anything for any client because I needed the money to cover the fixed costs. That philosophy bit me on the butt many years later when I had clients complaining that I put my fees up. I had clients complaining that they didn't get me anymore. They got one of my accountants or one of my planners or one of my mortgage brokers. I had people complaining that they were running late and I wasn't accommodating them. They would have an appointment at, let's say, 4:00, and they'd walk in the door at 4:30. I'd have another appointment booked in at 5:00, and I'd allowed an hour for them, and I couldn't do it in half an hour without compromising my product and potentially being sued. I had people complaining that wasn't right. How can I? I'm here now. I've, done this. I was stuck at work and blah, blah, blah. I put my foot down about 10 years ago and went, nobody gets to dictate to me when they come late that they still get their appointment. Nobody gets to determine when they will give me their work, and I need to get my work done to meet a deadline. I also made the point that price-sensitive clients that thought that they should get it cheaper because they don't have a lot of income were going. It was a very freeing thing because all of a sudden I had time on my hand to deal with clients that were my ideal client. I'm sure you've listened to my podcast on what an ideal client is, or what we call an avatar. If you haven't, go back and listen to that. Download our on our website. I'm sure we've got worksheets and things on that. And it is part of my course in Pathways to Profit that I am starting very soon. It will launch. So keep in mind that letting go of some clients allows you to serve the clients that are better suited to you and your business model. Debunk the myth here and now that you need to accommodate a client or a customer, that you need to cater to every whim that they have in order to grow. It actually holds you back as business owners. If you're working with clients that don't give you what you want, you get burnt out, you get disgruntled about your business, you start to doubt yourself whether you want to be in business, because quite often those customers that are difficult are not contributing to your bottom line efficiently. So understanding your ideal customer, what makes them tick, how you can service them is really important in finding the target audience that will create the client that you want to work with and the persona of that client. Price sensitive clients will always try to drive you to the bottom. They will tell you they will take their work elsewhere. They are the ones that will demand either replace that product or I'm going elsewhere. Either meet my needs or I'm going to go elsewhere. Let them walk. I'm going to say that again. Let them walk. I'm not saying for a minute if you delivered a poor product or a product that didn't fit the purpose it was said it should, that you shouldn't fix it. That's not bending over for a client. That is being a good business owner that is protecting their reputation and their product. What I'm talking about is the client that wants everything but doesn't want to pay for it. We have clients that come in here and they want everything done. They'll ring us up and I'm just trying to find out your pricing. Anybody who rings me and says, I want to know your pricing, before they've even told me what they do, how they do it, what records they've got, I know they're going to be a client I don't want. A client that comes in and says, this is what I've got, this is what I don't like about the accountant I'm with now. I've heard you help businesses with their growth strategy and how to look at their businesses differently. I want to work with you. Can we talk about what your services cost? That is a very different conversation because they've told me what is valuable to them. I can then make a decision whether they are valuable to me. If they're not, I don't accept them as a client. I am not the accountant or the business growth strategist that just takes anybody on. Because while I'm trying to get somebody to put things in place that they don't want to do, it wears me down, which means I don't act very well for the rest of my client base. So it is important to be firm on your service. Don't let somebody push you into doing something you don't want to do, delivering a product you're not comfortable with delivering, or delivering at a price that you don't want to deliver your price. Remember, your business is there to serve you, not your customer. And I know that goes against a lot of what people will think, because people will say to me, but if I don't have a customer, I don't have a product, I don't have income. If you are looking at your business in that way, then you're not looking at your ideal client. You're delivering a product that isn't suited to the market you're delivering it to. So it is important to then take a step back and look at you under the spotlight. What am I doing wrong? Who am I delivering to that I shouldn't be delivering to? And why am I delivering a service to somebody who doesn't want, need, or like my service? It's also about the bending over backwards for a client, is that then you set that expectation that that's what you'll do. If a client, I'll use an example here, if I had a client that needed to get their business activity statement in on the 25th of August, and they're dropping their documents off to me on the 24th of August, that's not my problem. They had from 1st of July to get that information into me for me to complete their business activity statement. Because what will happen is one of two or three things. One, I'm going to burn the midnight oil to do it, or my staff will. That isn't good for my own personal life or my staff's personal life. We're going to rush it to get it done, which means we leave ourselves open to a lawsuit because we've created a document or a product that isn't fit for purpose. Or three, my client gets a fine. Now, if he gets a fine or she gets a fine for delivering their work at an inappropriate time frame, that's on them. It's not on me. And that's the thing that you need to learn as a business owner. If whatever you're delivering to your product, if they can't get their own house in order to request it in time, it's not for you to change everything to get them what they are. The thing that we've found is that when we start saying, sorry, no, you didn't get it to us on time, we will get it done as quickly as we possibly can, but it will fit into our normal timeframes, people soon learned to get it to us earlier, to get it to us so there was no pressure on us, because whatever you are accommodating, they will want that accommodation. If you return product all the time because I didn't like it, and if that product isn't selling anymore because it's now in the wrong season, for example, you have now accommodated a client that couldn't work out that wasn't something that they wanted and got it back to you for a refund nice and quickly. You now have stock that you can't move. So that then becomes a cost to your business. If you're a builder, for example, and we see this a lot in the building trade, that you might have quoted for, let's say, the deck to be 2 meters by 5 meters. If you start to put up the structure and they go, look, it's probably a bit smaller than I want it. Can we make it 3 meters by 5 meters? If you don't do an out of scope, or if you say to them, sorry, I can't because it's all been done, this is the cost to fix it. And they go, it's only another meter. How hard can that be? You can explain to them that it's not just a meter. We've got to undo what we've done and redo it. So, it's a whole redo. If you explain that to them without the pressure of, but it's just a meter, can't you just whack that on? I'll pay the materials cost. It's not about that. It's also about the next job that you've got lined up. If their job has now stretched out because they changed their mind, are you going to tell your next client that, sorry, I can't get to your house renovation or can't get to your deck because I've got to stay? They then see that you couldn't program your work well, not that the consumer that you were supplying to changed their mind and did it. You may say to your new client, I'm really sorry, the customer before has changed. I will get done what I can. I'll be there and I'll go back to them when I finish your job. And that's something that you need to do. And then you need to say to your current customer, sorry, you've changed your mind. We allocated this week and next week for your job. I'll stop now and I'll go and do the other one. As soon as I finish that, I'll come back because that way I don't annoy them. Now, if they do a song and dance because they had a change and they want you there, that's on them. It is not on you. So changing your mentality around how you run your business and your mindset is really important because the customer is not always right. The customer doesn't get to do a song and dance and get something that they wanted. So part of being in business and not bending over to your customer and becoming their slave is to learn to set some healthy boundaries. You need to set that this is where we fall. If you want to fall outside that, then there is a cost to you. It is not on me. It is setting an expectation on your consumer before you do anything for them. So we have an expectation here with our clients that they will have everything to us 2 weeks before we have scheduled their work to be done. If they don't have that work into us 2 weeks before, then we just say to them, we'll move to the next job. You will fit in after that job. It's not where we sit around waiting for a client to come in. So we schedule our work so that clients know when it will be done. And setting that expectation with the client beforehand allows us to have a continuous workflow. Nothing is more unprofitable for a business that sells time, which is what an accounting firm does, if we don't have somebody to sell time to. Because I still have to pay wages of my staff sitting there. I still pay rent. I still pay electricity. I still pay for all of our software. If a client can't get their act together to be in when they're told to have their work to us, they get pushed out and we do the next one. The reason that we do a 2-week lead into it is rarely is everything there the first 2 weeks. And we want to make sure that when we're ready to go on a date, we are ready to go. Not we look and we go, they haven't sent us the bank statements to check that the bank reconciles. So there's all these different things that we need from our client to run efficiently, which allows us to keep our costing down without impacting our bottom line. The other thing that I always say to clients is they need to learn this really hard word to say for most business owners. It's a simple word and it's no. Say it after me. It's no. And the reason that we say that that is a really hard word to say is because we've been told to do whatever it is to get the sale. If it does not fit into your business model, your ideal client, or something that you are comfortable with, whether that be time or anything, the word is no. Now, I had a client a couple of years ago that came in. He was a painter. So came in with a shopping bag full of receipts that were screwed up because obviously, they'd just been chucked in the corner. And he put that bag on my desk. And I looked at him, and in years gone by, I probably would have dealt with that. I would have just sent it out to one of the trainee accountants and said, go through and add that up for me. And then I sat there and I went, there's 2 lessons here that him and I can learn. For me, it was the power of no. For him, it was realizing that you can't run a business from a screwed up set of receipts. You don't know if you've made profit. Real-time accounting is something that we say so that you can make informed decisions. So I sat there and I said to him, what would you like me to do with that bag of receipts? And he said, we'll add them up, find out how much my materials were, how much my petrol was, how much my phone was, how many, ladders and things I bought. And I just looked at him and I said, no, you can take that bag of receipts home and come back with the totals of your paint, totals of your materials that you purchased, the tools, your telephone, your petrol, your everything. I want totals of them. I don't do bags of receipts. His words to me were, so now you want me to do your job. I said to him, my job is not to add up receipts. Anybody can do that. The skill that we have as an accountant is knowing what you can claim, how much you can claim, and if you can claim it. And also looking at how we can make sure that your tax return is done legally and within the requirements of the tax office. And he said to me, so part of your job is to add my receipts. And I just went, no. Take them home and add them and come back, or else find a new accountant, because that's not me. He had a bit of a rant and a rave, and he said, if I'm paying for you to do that, what does it matter? My words back to him was, because while I am adding receipts up, that is nothing from a skill set that I have above anybody else. I'm not helping another person. And for me, my business model was to help as many people as I possibly can. And when I started my digital platform with jenrichardson.co, that's what I wanted in my Business Growth Academy, is to help 10,000 people. Part of that helping is to show clients that the customer isn't always right. As a business owner, I get a chance to say, this is what I want and this is what I will get from my business. He didn't want to sit there with a calculator and add it up, because he probably doesn't use calculators very often. It's time consuming. In his mind, I'll just pay them to add it up. But I didn't want to do that. I don't want to uncrinkle receipts, put them in the piles of, all the different categories we needed it in, and then add it. It wasn't something that I get joy out of it. It wasn't something that added to my business, and it's definitely not me using a skill set. So that client had a big huff and walked out. Interestingly enough, a couple of weeks later, he made an appointment with one of my other accountants. Came in with that same bag of receipts, those same receipts still screwed up in the bottom of that shopping bag, and sat in front of my accountant and put that bag on the desk. Because my accountants know my philosophy of how I run this practice and what I'll accept and not accept, my accountant sat there and said pretty much the same thing. We don't add receipts. That is not our role. Go home and add them up. It keeps your costs down. It makes your business a little bit more profitable. And it's not something that we add value to you with. And he pretty much said the same thing back. That is your job. My accountant said the same thing I said, and he got up in a huff and said, I'll go elsewhere. That was what we tried to say originally. You have a choice as a business to either do something or not do something. Not doing something is still a choice. And that client hopefully will realize that we were trying to help him out, because one, his fee would have been ridiculously high, because we would charge at the price that we should have been charging to do what we do, not add up receipts. but also because he had no idea whether his business was making money or his gross profit margin was decreasing. I am hoping that when he went to the next accountant that they gave him that lesson that he wouldn't take from us. It also meant, from my point of view, I didn't do work that I didn't want to do, I didn't enjoy doing, didn't add value to my business, and didn't meet one of my expectations of a service that I deliver. So no is very powerful. As a business owner, it is probably one of the most powerful words that you can use. It is difficult, no doubt about it. The first time you start saying no to your customer, I'm not doing that, or no, it won't be ready for you because you've let us know too late, the quicker you will get independence with your business, you'll get more fulfillment out of your business, you will be a better business owner. It is difficult, but it can be done. You will shake, you will feel nervous the first time you have to do it, but over time you will realize the benefits that come from saying no, because it does give you that ability to be better at your business, and that's what you should be focusing on, not satisfying a customer's needs and wants that are unreasonable. So when you say no, it actually changes the focus of you being a people pleaser into a problem solver. Now, as a problem solver, you will always get better advancement with your business because people will always pay for their problem to be solved. They're not happy to be sold to be pleased. And I know that sounds really weird and some people will doubt that, but I can assure you after 20 years nearly of being in business, people pay to have a problem solved, not to be pleased. So they want to walk out of whatever it is that you give your customer going, that's great. My problem is now solved and my business is better or my life is better. They don't want somebody patting them on the head and going, you're so good at that, or here you go, I'll save you having to do something. By becoming a problem solver, you create a product and a service that your consumer needs, wants, and desires. And they are the three things that every business should have. By being a problem solver, you can potentially be that difference between you and your competitor. If your competitor is just a people pleaser, then they're running around in circles. They're not innovative. They're not looking at ways to grow. They're not looking at ways to cut their costs, to improve their product, because they're too busy keeping their consumer happy. It also has a lot to do with pricing. So you'll always have the price-sensitive consumer, and they're the person that will always push for something more to be done because they always want value for money. Now, they don't understand value for money is not the cheapest price. Value for money is about you providing the way to solve a problem, the way to deliver something that they want, need, and desire. And so when you're looking at your pricing, if you're solving a problem as opposed to being a people pleaser, you can increase your pricing because you have something that your consumer wants, needs, and desires. So when you are a problem solver, you're not showing your value, you're not solving a problem as such for your consumer as often, and you're not setting yourself apart from your competitors. Of course, when we look at pricing, we're always looking at how you can take yourself out of the comparison with your competitor. If we both sold widgets and the widgets are exactly the same, manufactured everywhere, exactly the same, do the same job, same color, same size, same everything, you will be compared on price every single day of the week. But if you have a widget that does something special to your competitor's widget, all of a sudden they can't compare the pricing because your widget is so much better than their widget. They can't compare what they're paying you because they can't get that from your competitor. So stop being a people pleaser, start being a problem solver, and your widget will be very different to their widget. So that lets you increase your pricing. And as you know, I'm such a person that every business owner should be increasing their pricing all the time regularly, at least once a year, potentially twice a year, because whenever we're increasing our pricing, we're removing the price sensitive clients from our database, and it leaves us to work with the clients that want what we have, want what we can give them, and want what we can provide to them. So keeping those customers at bay that are trying to drive down your profit, trying to drive down your serviceability, and trying to make you do what they want to do. The word is what? No. No, I can't do that. No, I can't get that to you on time. Sorry, day's done. You left it too late. I'll do it another day. Whatever that is that your consumer is trying to get you to do, you need to stand your ground. Deliver an exceptional service. Deliver a client-centric product that gives them a product that they want. Give them something that they need with exceptional results, but not an exceptional product that gives them what they want without costing. So set boundaries. Make sure that your product is hunky-dory. It does what it should do, and look at how it solves a problem for someone. So that's it for today. I'm hoping that gives you some hope and some encouragement to not be a slave to your client, be a slave to your own business, and let your customer fit into your business model, not the other way around. If you have any friends, colleagues, or neighbours that could use help from us here at jenrichardson.co, please send them our way. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Join us on socials, or you can jump on over to our website, jenrichardson.co, and join our waitlist for Business Growth Academy's Pathway to Profit, which is commencing very soon. And all of these sorts of things is part of the program we do, but of course we're going to dive in so much deeper. So have a lovely week, and I look forward to seeing you next week on Dollars and Dreams. Bye for now. Remember, the advice shared in Dollars and Dreams is general in nature, and it does not consider your own personal circumstances. Dollars and Dreams is for educational purposes only and should not be relied upon to make investment or financial decisions. If you need more help, please reach out to a financial advisor for tailored personal advice. Don't forget to click that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future content. And please leave me a review. Your feedback really helps me to reach other people chasing their money dreams. You can find me over on Facebook and Instagram to connect with me. You will find the link in the bio, or head over to my website at jenrichardson.co, where you will find free content and learning tools.